That was the first time I had been sexually assaulted. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about my time being a model. I have had some pretty intense experiences, and I thought it would be great to share it with you guys and maybe spread awareness to anyone who is a model or thinking about being a model, and just how to be careful. I was modeling from 2014 to 2015. It was very short-lived. I'm gonna go ahead and put up my very first modeling photo here. This was my very first photo shoot, and that was the first time I had been sexually assaulted. That was the start of it all, and honestly, it wasn't a good start at all. I had just had this random idea, like, oh, I want to start modeling. People would always ask, do you model? If you don't, you should. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I should start modeling. And so I signed up for Model Mayhem. I would connect with a lot of photographers. It's free because ultimately they're photographing you for free, but you can use their work in your portfolio and vice versa. So this was awesome to have a platform like that for models where they can connect with other people doing the same thing, other models or makeup artists, photographers, and so on. Just anything that has to do with that industry, you can find them all there, network, do what you need to do. If I recall, that's how I met the first photographer. Then I ended up going to his studio, did that photo shoot. The sexual assault goes, it was definitely unwanted touching. I was pressured to get naked very often, and this was really new to me. I honestly didn't know how to say no. I didn't even feel comfortable saying no because I just didn't really know what the outcome would be. It was me and this guy alone in his studio, and if you know what I mean? If you reject someone, you don't know what they're capable of doing. They're already trying to push you into this very obviously uncomfortable situation. So it was intense. So I automatically knew I will never shoot with that guy again. And it really sucks because he was an amazing photographer. I just would never feel comfortable. I would probably shank somebody, to be super honest with you. I would not put up with that now. So that was the first one. There was a few photographers I worked with that did exactly what they were supposed to do, which was not make you uncomfortable and not try to make weird advances, not assault you, and not say anything funny. They just came to do the job and be done. And yes, I did have some of those, but there was a lot of sexual assaulting photographers that I had. So in total, my 1 year of modeling, I believe I got sexually assaulted 3 to 4 times by different photographers. And it really just sucks because literally all the ones that were sexually assaulting me, all were amazing photographers. So that was really definitely a hard decision because ultimately, I wanted these photographers to work with me so that I can expand my portfolio. And the industry doesn't accept women with tattoos. And so that was my other thing too, is I needed to find these photographers that were going to work with me and really bring me out, bring my model potential out of me with the tattoos so that I could later on submit them to agencies and get signed. And so that was ultimately the goal. Like, I knew my path to becoming a legitimate model was going to take a lot of time and effort and a lot of free work and so on, because you needed to do that in order to build your resume. So if I went into a modeling agency with a full resume of stuff, maybe they would sign me, you know? That was my thought process. So that happened a few times, maybe a little over a few times. And so eventually I just stopped trying to work with male photographers. I just couldn't deal with that uncomfortable situation and just not knowing who these guys really were and what they could possibly do to me if I denied them. The second one that sexually assaulted me, he actually touched me, and that was very uncomfortable. Again, I didn't know how to say no. I just didn't know the right way to do it. I know you can say no, but again, I was just very fearful of the aftermath of saying no or pushing back. And so it never got to sex. Obviously, no one raped me, but I was definitely sexually assaulted. So the third one is another one that pressured me to get naked. And There was no touching or anything with that one, but there was some definite pressure to get naked on camera, and I even have the photos, but once again, it just was not wanted. It was ultimately one of those decisions, like, I just can't keep doing this. I ended up moving to LA for a very short period of time with my ex, and he was also doing some modeling. He had some model friends, you know, like big gigs that are common brands and, you know, commercials and prints, and they were literally living that dream. One of his friends that was a model, he was like, hey, had to leave to go do some modeling jobs. So he was gonna leave his apartment in LA, and he was like, hey, if you guys wanna just stay here, do your thing while I'm gone, feel free to do it. Just pay the bills and you're all good. We move over there to LA from the Bay Area and start this life to try to become models. And yeah, it was very short-lived. We did get to go to some casting calls. We didn't get them, but we did go to some casting calls. That was fun. Very short-lived. Went back home pretty shortly after. After I came back from LA a little while later, I did get casted by City Models in San Francisco. The only job I actually got booked from them, and I went to a few auditions, but I didn't have the experience for auditions. They didn't teach you any of that stuff. So I just went in there like a deer in headlights, whatever that saying goes. I didn't know what to expect every time. I was never prepared. There's a lot of things I did wrong that I needed to do differently in order to get casted by these agents. So the only job I booked with them was for a fashion show walk. So I got to wear a couple outfits, I believe, and I had to go on stage and just, you know, do a catwalk. So that was really fun. That's the only photo I have of that runway walk show or whatever it is. They never gave us any prints or anything from it, but it was amazing. It was so fun. I didn't have anyone there to support me. It was literally just me. My mom was running super late, and my time on stage was literally like 2 minutes most. So timing went like this. I was really pissed off at her for that also. But when I finally decided to stop modeling, it came down to about 2015. I was doing some things with women at this point. I steered away from working with men just because it was, again, you know, just not comfortable for me. So I ended up working with women, makeup artists, things like that, and just doing modeling for them, you know, and that was fun and that was comfortable for me. But I had ended up getting a call while I was doing one of my photo shoots. I believe I had just finished or wrapped up the shoot, and I was in San Jose, and I had gotten a call that my mom was sick. So that was the start of my mom slowly withering away and ending up passing away very shortly after that, and it was very sudden and random. But when I got that call, I immediately went and attended to my mom, literally leaving that photo shoot. This is the photo I have that I took literally on my way home. And that literally was the start of my mom passing away. And so that literally happened within about a month, all within a time span of a month. Photo shoot was early October, and she ended up passing away at the end of October. So that was literally my very last photo shoot to this day. As far as me trying to be a model and so on, that was the last photo shoot that I had. So I hadn't modeled since, obviously, because I was going through a bunch of things. I had depression, I had gained weight, you know, I got sick, and I moved, and so many things were just happening that it just was no longer my dream. I just realized also that it was never gonna be something I could accomplish because of me having tattoos. And so I even started the tattoo removal process at a certain point because I was like, well, if I can just get rid of these damn tattoos, maybe I can become a model. I was literally willing to do whatever I needed to do. So you can even tell a lot of my tattoos are gone. Like, all of this was really, really dark, and I started having that removed. All of this was started to be removed also. So it's like very, like, you can barely, you know, it's definitely all patchy. This I was leaving because I can easily cover that, but everything else I was starting to have removed. And yeah, I did all that pretty much for nothing because I didn't even end up continuing with that dream. But the whole reason why I ultimately wanted to make this video was just to spread awareness about that. And I never really spoke about that until now. A couple people know about that situation and kind of what happened, and it didn't really affect who I am as a person. Like, I know sexual assault can affect women in different ways. Different people are affected differently. It didn't really affect me as far as who I am as a person. It's definitely made me grow and mature a lot more, because I know what I will and won't put up with now that I'm older. And I would now feel more comfortable saying no and just dealing with the consequences at that time if I need to. But you guys, I carry a knife with me. Like, I'm not trying to play no games with nobody. If I need to protect myself, I will. And so that's kind of where I'm at now at this point in time. But I just wanted to spread awareness and remind you guys just to always stay safe. And that's just in general. If you're working with certain people, just make sure that you are comfortable and just speak up. I could talk to myself at that point now. I would tell myself to say no and, stand up for yourself. But that's it for today's video, guys. Just wanted to spread some awareness about that subject and kind of let you guys know what happened with my slight modeling. I'm not even gonna say career, because it wasn't even a career. It didn't even really make money, but it was something really fun to me. I really enjoyed my photo shoots, and I'll go ahead and put a slide of a few photos if you'd like to stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my channel, and I will be back with more videos soon.